Welcome to the First Responders Wealth Network. Our mission is to help all first responders change their mindset towards money and educate how to build long-term wealth through real estate investing. Are you ready?
So here we go. We got another podcast. I'm with my man, Cody Yeh, and we're talking stock options. And, well, I'm not talking stock options. You're going to talk stock options because I don't know much about that at all. So we're in the same mastermind and crushing it in that world and space. So it was really interesting to connect with you over the weekend, which was awesome in Montreal, and then to carry on our conversation here. So introduce yourself, and then let's get going.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave. So as you all know, say yay. That's my slogan. Say yeah to FIRE. For people who doesn't know what FIRE means, I think most of our audience knows, it means financial independence and retire early. Everyone has their own version. I have mine as well. The way I look at FIRE is to use the highest and best use of your time to make the most money so you can spend the rest of the time with your passion, your family, your friends, and whatever that's very important to you. That is my version of FIRE. So with that being said, a quick intro of myself. I came to Canada when I was 18, which is about 13 years ago. Now I'm 31. I studied engineer at University of Toronto. Some of you guys down in the States, that's kind of like the Harvard equivalent of Canada. I'm winking, so some people argue with me.
Yeah. I was going to say,
equivalent.
whoa, hey, let's put on the brakes here a little bit.
Just throw some smokes out. And the reason why I took that is because I don't like writing reports, and English is my second language. So really, I thought I was good at math. So I really want to just coasting it through university. It's still very tough. Met a lot of competitive people. And that's truly one of the fastest way for me to start earning a stable income. At that time, I didn't know much. Engineer, you can come out of school, get a good job, get paid $60K to start with. Mm-hmm. Hey, why not? I don't want to become a burden for someone else because my parents was paying a lot of my tuition. So that was my thinking. But little do I know that I just found myself another job. When I first graduated, I didn't know much about money. I started playing with stocks since second year of university, but I didn't know how do you accumulate wealth. I thought making more income equal to being wealthy. Yep. Now everything is different. Being rich means that you have the money, but being wealthy means that you have the time. And that's a huge difference that I know now comparing to before. And I didn't know that at that time. I was working a lot of overtimes. And for 2 years of my life, I was actually a day trader, trading in the Asian market. I hired a coach through a friend. This coach has no social media. It's off the radar. But she was managing 9-figure money and multiple 9-figure monies. And she was 2 years younger than me. So when I was 26, she was 24. And that story still blew my mind. I wouldn't believe it until I saw it live, how she trade. Yeah. And my heart literally stopped because I'm like, how do you make that kind of trade with that kind of money? She's like, well, this is what I do every day when you get good at it. So that's my 2 years of life.
I remember you telling me that story when you met her. And then you're like, man, it was a game changer. And it's always like those kind of interactions where you meet someone and they kind of just blow your limiting belief or what you think is possible. And then it's a whole nother world of this game, that's being played out there. So
yeah, it's really great. Even the funny thing is that the first 4 to 8 months, she told me that now I'm your coach, but trust me, you will still lose money. I'm like, what? You're my coach. You tell me you're going to lose money? She's like, yes, because you're not mentally ready. And I've little be known, yes, for the first 4 to 6, 8 months, I was losing money a little bit, get it grind down. But then end of year positive and second year of 66%. But then what I realized is that it's a lot of commitment to stay at that level or get better. And there's an upper limit of how much you can trade in the market. So she was running into problems. She has too much money. She couldn't get in and out of trade fast and nimble enough. So there's risk. So I'm like, okay, how can I spend less time? Because I was spending 5 to 6 hours at night after my overtime of 400 to 800 of hours per year. I was spending that time at night. I was having a lot of white hair, and it's really taking away a lot of my time with friends and family. I was learning about real estate as well. So I was driving around, listening to podcasts on my way there and back. And just, it was a crazy timing, right? And I'm so glad my girlfriend Claudia is still with me.
Through the thick and thin.
Through the thick and thin. Yeah. But I realized it's not there to stay. It's not sustainable. At least I couldn't even teach this to friends and family because I know most of them will fail. So that's when I started playing with other stocks, like trading stocks or trading stock option, right? I was trying out different strategy and stabilizing it to the point where now I can teach people what I know best, help people make 1 to 4%, spend less than 30 minutes per day on that, right? And I already helped hundreds of students since the last year I started the course. And before that, I was taking personal coaching clients.
Yeah.
Right. And what I found even more interesting is all my alumni is like, Cody, can I spend less than 30 minutes and make even more money? And that's what inspired my mastermind, where I train my researcher to do research, pump out daily news for me, how I digest the news, and I just focus on how I trade. Then that basically convert to more value for my mastermind people to spend less time and make even more money and basically hold me accountable for where I put money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
And none of it is stock advice, but just hold me, it's accountability and transparency over there.
So before we go back to like the 101 nuts and bolts of even what stock options are and all that kind of stuff, I'm just curious because you said like to invest, you train someone to like do your research. What is it exactly that they're researching that'll contribute to your decisions?
Great question. So what contribute to the research is very subjective. So I think we all heard this is in the short term, the market has a lot of greed, a lot of fear. Now, if you link that back to real estate, which is a lot of your audience, is in the short term, people are thinking, oh, the rate is about to go up. Let me lock in a pre-approval mortgage and buy it within 90 to 120 days before it goes up. Now, that's a short-term fear and greed over there. But in the long term, whether the real estate prices are going to go up in the city or the other city, it's the fundamental. Are there more demand than supply? Are there more jobs? Blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing in stocks as well. In the short term, people could panic because Tesla's CEO Elon said, hey, I'm selling 10% of my share, and he can tank the whole stock. But in the long term, it doesn't really matter. It's the company doing better in the long term because the stock price will follow the company's fundamental, right? So it's very similar to real estate, but just that it's a lot easier to enter and exit trades and stocks to sell that at a profit, sell it at a loss. So people react a lot quicker.
Yeah, it's very emotional based in a lot of these short-term stuff. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
To sit back and kind of like pay attention to it. Okay, cool. So let's just break it down, man. Like explain stock options. Like, what the hell is it?
So
those of you who don't know, like,
so buying stocks is kind of like buying a piece of real estate, right? The easiest way to got in when I first got in 10 years ago was I bought Boeing stocks like TD, RBC. I get paid on dividend. For people who doesn't know, dividend is kind of like the money you put in the bank to pay you an interest. The interest could change, but it's there to stay if the company does well, right? And that's equivalent to the buy and hold of real estate. Just buy it, sit there, wait for 10 years, go up, great, right? There's some cash flow, great. There's some mortgage pay down, great. Very similar to that. Now, stock option, right? There's a buy side and there's a sell side. Buy side of stock option is more like you can use a limited amount of money to control a lot of money. So it's inherently leverage. It's kind of like real estate, right? Bank give you 3 to 5 times the money. So when you're buying, you can like, hey, Cody, I can spend $100 buying this lottery ticket and I can win big. But most of the time, I'll probably lose most of the money. That's the buy side. Now, the sell side of it is more like when you're a casino owner, when kind of like you're the OLG, kind of like when you're the insurance broker, right? When you have auto insurance or car insurance, you pay a premium every month. Now, whether you make a claim or not, the premium is going to the insurance company. They don't give it back. Even if you make a claim, they don't give it back.
right.
Now, on the selling side of the option, we are the insurance company. So when we get paid a premium up front, we know what the risk we're taking, right? And there's 2 types of selling side. There's a selling put option, there's a selling call option. Selling put option, we get paid a premium like insurance company. And guess what? We sell a contract to someone on the other side that wants to bet a direction and the stock direction. And the worst case for us is we need to buy 100 shares of the stock. So when someone make a claim, that's when we buy 100 shares of the stock. And most of the time, we sell a put option contract that is a little bit or a lot below the current stock price. So if we ever have to buy 100 shares of the stock, we buy at a much lower price. It's kind of equivalent, we're buying off-market value property in the real estate world. So we're buying off-market stocks, and we get paid a premium to wait to have the opportunity to do that. So if we ever have to do that, we buy off-market stocks, right? Which is below market value at that time when we enter. It could be 5%, 15% cheaper than the current market value, right? Then once we sell a put option, right? If the stock price drop below the price agreed to buy at, now we're on a hook to buy 100 shares of it. We have the cash ready to buy 100 shares. Now we can talk about selling call options. Selling call options, what we call cover call options, that's where we kind of, now that we own the house, we're like, Cody, I want a consistent cash flow. I want some appreciation, but I don't want to just sit here and do nothing because I want a consistent income, right? So it's kind of like you rent to own out your stocks, just like in real estate. You put in a rent to own, like for people who know, you say you put in 5% appreciation every year. In the next 3 years, if your tenant can meet that criteria with the borrowing power and all the other requirements, they can buy it with 5%. So it's 1.05 times 1.05 times 1.05. They can buy at that price. So you have that appreciation built in, and you get paid more cash flow upfront, right? Or every month as well. So that's kind of like the cover call, rent to own version of cover call in the stock option world. You get paid cash flow, you put in some appreciation. And the only catch is just like the same as rent to own is you cap yourself. If you say it's a 5% per year, guess what? If it's 10% appreciation, you lock yourself at 5%. But you still have the cash flow. You still have the 5% appreciation, right? So from there, basically that's the whole jinx of the basic version of the strategy without the needy and greedy. Right?
Yeah. So is there a specific direction that you always go or that you always take? Or is it vary depending on the timing or
the
stock?
So like a lot of people said, stock is easy, always goes up. Or there's only two directions. It goes up or go down. But when you look at it in detail, it can go up, it can go down, it can go sideways and go in circles. That's how people lose money because of all that short-term fear and greed we mentioned early on. So for us, we're always on the patient side. We know the worst case, we buy a stocks we want to own at a cheaper price. That's from selling put option, right? So we wait for the stock to dip a little bit and we get in, right? We get at a much cheaper price. Now we're okay to hold it for the long term. And we turn around and rent to own out our stocks, which is called cover call, to get paid while we wait for the stock to appreciate. So we're always neutral to bullish, but we get paid. We can still hit 1 to 2%, even if stock go flat for the whole year.
Right, because you're getting those
premiums.
Those premiums and
will help us with the cash flow.
Yeah.
So that's the best of both worlds, in my opinion. You make money whether the stock goes up, goes sideways, or go down even slightly. You make money, right?
So what companies then are you like focusing on? Like, are you like, I know you're not doing like startup companies. You're doing like established kind of top 10 or top 20 or whatever you guys do there, right?
Yeah, so it's like real estate, right? If you want to make a lot more money, you can go out in the middle of nowhere to buy the most cash flow property, but the risk is it's a very single industry area. So if something happened, boom, that company can go down, property market can go down, right? So for us, if we want to hit 1 to 4% per month with minimum risk, because when you have a bigger account, it's not all about absolute return. It's more about preserving capital and make consistent return. So what we do is we kind of pick the stocks or kind of like the GTA market. Let's say, Hamilton, Barrie, Durham, or maybe we can go even closer, Mississauga, Vaughan, Pickering, or something like that. But knowing that, if we stay tight to the diversify or a good city that has good fundamental, has a lot of people coming in and start out with, we have a lot of higher chance of being successful. So if we translate that into stocks, is companies that have been there and has been growing for the last 5 years in terms of their revenue, in terms of their net income, in terms of their market share, in terms of their technology, they're always leading. So it's not just about now or past, but how are they leading in the future as well, right? So we focus on those companies, and like you said, Most of them are blue chips, as
Yeah.
in they are making money. They do pay a little bit of dividend, and they are growing for the past 5 years. And
Right.
they're consistent, they have a good management team, right? So we focus on those to eliminate our risk. And if we can make 1 to 4% every month
Yeah.
from doing this on them, it's better than most of the mutual funds, even better than a lot of the private lending. And we all know private lending has a different tax structure because it's an interest income, right? So, if you structure it right for a stock option, you can actually keep more money, right, and getting paid more percentage.
Interesting. So how long do you say it takes like an average thick-headed guy like me to learn this skill set in order to kind of go about and do it on my own?
So I have students that review my recording and start trading before my live course.
Really?
Meanwhile, there are musicians or more artistic mind people, like they do design for their whole life. They learned it, they feel comfortable, but they were trading with paper trading account. That means it's a fake money account. Everything else is real except for the money. And one of my alumni who was doing that, he started with 300K. He's a real estate investor. 300K of fake money.
Right.
Within 3 months, he turned it into 370,000. And he was like, Cody, so I have a question for you. Everything else, I get it, but how do I get this fake money out?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, dude, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Probably time to get some real money in.
Yeah.
Right. So there's the spectrum of someone who gets it right away, but someone who can take them a little bit, 1 to 3 months to get it, but it's all on you. You're not competing with anyone else. Everyone's like, Cody, when can I get the money back? When can I make the first 10K?
Yeah.
But think about it. It's kind of like real estate. Once you pull your money out, once you get back all your course fee or mastermind fee from here,
Right.
all the you learn new skills, no one can take it away from you. The stocks might change, but the strategy will not. You can pass it on to your kids. What is the return on this? To me, it's infinite return.
Right.
From here, right?
Yeah, totally. So what does a course look like with you? Like, what is it? What's the time frame look like? Is it online, you said, or like masterminds, or just one-on-one? Like, explain how you teach people.
Yeah. So, I haven't really more things about mastermind. We're in the beta stage where I test out existing alumni. You're giving a lot of great feedback and some improvements for me to make even better before I roll out to the public. So the new mastermind is going to be, they will get included with the recording, which is all edited, put it on the website. They can review, no more of me, stop for 5 seconds. It's just all boom, boom, boom. Special guests all line up, right? All these webinars all line up, right? It's just kind of like YouTube videos, but all the meats and bones. No like pitching anything. No, it's just right there for you to get going. So all the beginner course, intermediate course will be up on the website. And I have coaches that'll follow up with them on a weekly, monthly basis to make sure they don't fall off, because we really want our students to be successful. It's not all about Cody. Yeah, Cody, you make a lot of money. Great. But what does that do for me? Right. So for us, is we measure our success from how successful our students are. And how do we make sure they're successful? We hold them accountable. We have coaches that follow up with them, make sure they don't fall off.
That's key.
Right. And from there, right, I already start sharing all my daily news digestion, and I share my trades for entertaining and educational purpose. I put my money where my mouth is, and people can ask questions, and all the other mastermind can share their trades. And we have a system where you share what's the top 3 reasons you make this trade, right? There's format that you share this trade. So we make it very efficient, a good discussion, right? We have different channel to talk about research with general discussion, mastermind trades, my trades, and all that good stuff, right? So it's just creating the most value in the most efficient way. So you probably know me, I'm an efficiency freak. So
yeah. Well, and you're an OCD organized guy, so I can only imagine the quality of the detail there. When you say like 30 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day or something crazy like that, like what is, or a week or whatever you guys are doing, what are you doing within that time frame? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, great. So now for me, probably 30 minutes per day. For any of the alumni, before they join the mastermind, now that they learn it, they know what to do. They know what to do on a daily basis. They're reading the news in the morning. For example, the market opens at 9:30. So you start reading the news at 9, and they start weeding through that. Okay, what's important for the stocks I'm investing in? What's important for the overall market? What are the noise? And keep throwing away the noise. And now they say, is the market up or is the market down? Oh, it's down a little bit. There's an opportunity. Okay, I'm going to go enter some position. Or if it's up, okay, I'm going to enter some cover call position. Okay, so that's their decision. And if they look at the cash, they say, Cody, I don't have cash to enter more position. That's fine. You move on to the day. Right. So it could be 10 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, right? That's where the mastermind come out. Some people say, Cody, I'm comfortable reading the news, but I can't read as good as you. Or even I'm so busy when the market is open. So can you read news for me and share some of your trades? I'm not going to follow, but it's a good reference, right? Yeah. And I know that's not stock advice. No one's going to hold you accountable, but I just want to see it. Because a lot of time what you see is what we don't see, right? To get us better to the next level. Yeah. So to save them more time, make them more money.
So what kind of like stories can you share of like some of your students that have like just done, I know you have lots of examples. So just, you know, let us get an inside scoop of what that looks like.
Yeah, so I can share one. So this gentleman, I can share that because he's actually on one of my alumni interviews. So he agreed and we just had a conversation before this call. He was one of my first VIP when I started the VIP. He originally from New Zealand. His nickname is Kiwi. His first name is Michael. And then he went to US and he worked for investment banking industry for 20 years. So when he first applied to my program, I'm like, Michael, how can I help you? You know everything. You're from investment banking. He said, no, Cody, you don't get it. I'm from investment banking. I work for the trading desk in the accounting side, but it doesn't mean I know trading.
Right.
Right. I know the numbers, but I don't know trading. Right. So he was one of the first VIP that got in. And he has a huge account. Right. That's why, you know, he's in the VIP and he learned it really fast. And he's about, I think, 50s. I couldn't really tell. I never asked, but he has like 2 kids and all that. So he's at the stage where he's comfortable with real estate. He has like 20 plus properties in the US already. So he's just like, Cody, I want that cash flow. I like to ride bikes every day. I want to spend a minimum amount of time, but I want to make money to sustain my lifestyle and make sure my kids are taken care of. So I don't eat into my nest egg. So he incorporated like 3 strategies. Right, kind of like he used the selling put cover call strategy to generate the cash flow, and he used those cash flow to buy some long-term stuff, and you know, and keep growing that, and then use some of the cash flow for the daily life, keep growing his nest egg, keep growing it bigger. And he was sharing the results. Again, I didn't give the last name, so I can share the results. I think he hit about last year was crazy. I think he hit like between like 30 to 50% with all 3 strategies combined. And he's literally telling me, Cody, I have no time to check your mastermind. Seriously, just post your trade. I will decide what am I going to do with it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, Michael. Okay, Michael. Right. So he's one of my first VIP. And I'm very honored that he stick around because he saw the value. Yeah. Otherwise, you know, that's how I know I'm doing well is because of the retention rate, right? People sign up, continue to sign up for it. And I'm very happy for that. And they get more money out of it than what they pay. So to them, makes a lot of sense.
So can people just watch your trades then, you're saying, and just like if they want to follow you and just be like, listen, I'm just gonna do what Cody's doing?
It's like the same question I asked you, Dave. Can someone just follow your?
This is not financial advice. I understand all the disclaimers. I'll go back to my question. Can
what if I throw that question back to you, Dave? Can someone follow your strategy in Hamilton and just do exactly what you do? What would you say to that?
Yeah, they can follow the strategy, but you still gotta do the work. I understand.
And could there be things that can go wrong?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's the same thing here. You can follow the strategy, but if you don't know what are the risks and what are the work involved, then you might panic because you don't know it well enough. But if you learn it, you know exactly why I do those stuff, what to interact, what to do if it went the other way. Yeah, I mean, it could be entertaining, educational purpose, right? And then I put my money where my mouth is. Right?
Totally. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. It's amazing how many real estate investors in, you know, our network and our space and friends and blah, blah, blah are like starting to learn this stuff and getting into like the options trading. It's almost become like, I don't know why all of a sudden it's become a thing, but it's like a lot of people are just doing really well at it too. Cause you have that, you kind of eliminate that emotional side of the process, you know, and when you stick down the numbers and your strategies that you teach, you know, people are doing pretty well. They're getting some good returns on the side. So.
Yeah, it's really a good cash flow play, in my opinion. And you can use those cash flow to speed up the process of saving for your first house, principal house, or saving for your next investment property, or somewhere to another option for you to dump your money after the refinance, but you couldn't find your next investment property yet. That's where you can, hey, instead of putting in GIC or private lend it out where I have to lock in for 6 months,
Right.
then this could be another way. There's more flexibility and you
Mm.
make 1 to 4% per month, and you can do this anywhere in the world.
If you're doing like puts, right? And I could be off on my terminology here, but if you're doing like a put or whatever, and the stock, say it, no, it doesn't crash, but it drops like 20%.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
goes, something goes crazy. Then
Yeah.
you have to be able to purchase those stocks, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So anything that you're buying or putting a premium on, you kind of have to have like a reserve in order to be ready to
Yes.
purchase it, correct?
So in stock option, a lot of people are playing it like it's real estate. If I don't need any leverage, that means cash on cash return is 1 to 4% per month.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use leverage because leverage is a double-edged sword. In real estate, as long as you pay the mortgage payment, you will not get a margin call. But in stock market, if you're using the money you don't have and each broker has their margin requirement, all of a sudden the market turned by 30%, the broker could think that, Cody, you're almost going to negative. So we're not going to take that risk. We're going to come in, we're going to liquidate everything and make sure we are not on the hook. So
Right.
you could get margin call in the stock world, whereas in real estate, you can ride it through. So that's why we don't use leverage in the stock market. It's just
Got it.
not worth it.
Got it.
1 to 4% is good enough
Yeah,
per
no,
month.
no doubt. And then, like you said, you start small, you're working your way up, and training in with the paper money or the fake money that you call. I think that's really, really smart to do. Do you encourage people to do that from the beginning, or do people kind of a little more conservative people like me like open to doing that more, or people just kind of dive in?
So it depends. I have different students, a lot of like influencer in the real estate world. Most of the go-getters would be like, Cody, forget about fake money. I just want to put in
Yeah.
some money. Those are the money I'm okay not seeing ever again, but I want to learn with real money. So I feel it.
Right. Right.
But whereas some other people are like, Cody, I like to play a paper trading money, right? Because I want to get comfortable, make mistake there. So everyone's kind of different, but you have
Yeah.
to know how you learn, how you motivate yourself to learn. Do you have to
Hmm.
put yourself right in the fire, or you
Yeah.
need to take a step back so you don't get overwhelmed? So
Yeah.
everyone's kind of different. That's why I have hundreds of students. I'm like, every one of you guys are competing against yourself. You're pushing
Hmm.
yourself uncomfortable every day. Then you're gonna
Yeah.
get comfortable. It's like the rubber band that Alfonso was saying, right? You pull your rubber band
Yeah.
and you let go. Now your rubber band become bigger,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you have your own rubber band. Someone's rubber band is very small. Someone's rubber band is really big. Someone's is very elastic. Some of the ones are not very elastic, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes I'm trying to break through to my own community whose elastic's not very stretchy. So this is a good topic to literally bring on and kind of, open your eyes a little bit more to, obviously real estate's my number one, but there are other opportunities out there and a lot of successful real estate investors doing this on the side because of the strategies that you were talking about on the cash flow and that kind of stuff. And you can literally do it on your phone, you know. You could be at the hall or the station or whatever on your weekends on the beach, reading up and just doing your changes. So it's a little different, obviously, than real estate with as far as the output of energy, I think. And so I think it's a really unique opportunity that I've never really been exposed to, but I do plan on diving in a little bit more. So when I do to go with someone, I'll be coming to you. So
No problem. No problem. I'm,
yeah.
I'm very welcoming for that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let people know how they can get a hold of you. You have a killer YouTube channel too. We didn't even talk about, but if you want to let people know how they can get a hold of you.
When you said a killer YouTube channel, I was
Oh,
laughing at
sorry,
myself.
the views and your subscribers. But then you
Yeah.
told me on the weekend that you only have like so many videos. So that's kudos to your quality
Yeah, it was a
or
high.
your pretty face. I don't know. I'm not sure which one, but
So yeah, I had 18 videos. I only have one real estate video that was talking about when the COVID first hit, whether the tenant's going to pay, what should the tenant and landlord do. I only have one real estate video. The rest are stock option videos. So yeah, I started, I think March 2020. I started for about 4 or 5 months. I have 18 videos and I stopped. So the past 1.5 years, I don't have any new videos, but there's 14,000 subscriber.
Wow.
That's a good place to start. And also I have a Facebook group where there's 4,000 plus people, all organic. I didn't run any ads on it, just like-minded people who join. And I run Facebook Live every Sunday at 7 p.m. I let people ask questions, vote for the topic they want me to talk about. And I have a lot of vlogs, of like value-added vlogs, short videos in there, and a lot of my alumni interview just to give people more perspective on what they're getting. And just people can feel free to ask great question in there, right? So also have Instagram. So they're all 3 good ways to see more of Cody.
Nice.
If you want more of it.
You're a smart dude, and you're very methodical, and you know, you articulate it well. I know just for the short time that we were connecting, you're explaining it to me. It's nice to hear people crushing it and doing good things and helping other people do it too. So I appreciate you coming on, man, and I will leave the information in my show notes, and I'll let you know when this comes out.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate and review on iTunes. Also, check out our website at 911wealthnetwork.com or contact Dave directly at 911wealthnetwork.com. Stay safe out there.